Good morning and welcome to Kalank Igniting the Curious Mind, Reproductive Health. You have learnt about the human reproductive system and its function in Chapter 2. Now let us discuss the closely related topic, reproductive health. What do we understand by this term? The term simply refers to a reproductive health organ with normal functions. However, it has a broader perspectives and includes the emotional and social aspects of reproductions also. According to World Health Organization, reproductive health means a lot of well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Therefore, a society with a people having physical and functionally normal reproductive organs and the normal emotional and the behavioral interactions among them is a sex-related aspects might be called reproductive health. Why it is significant to maintain reproductive health? What are the methods to taken up to achieve it? Let us examine them. Reproductive health and the problems and strategies. India, amongst the first countries in the world to initiate the action plans and program at the national level to attain a reproductive health, has a social goal, and these programs are called family planning, where they initiated in 1951 and were periodically assessed over the past decades. Improved program covering a wide reproductive related areas are currently in operations under the popular name Reproductive and Child Health Care (RCH). The programs creating awareness among people about the various reproductions related aspects and providing facilities and support for building up a reproductive healthy society are the major tasks under these programs. With the help of audio visuals and the print media, governmental and non-governmental agencies have taken various steps to create awareness among the people about the reproductions related aspects. Parents and other close related and teachers and friends also have a major role in disseminating the all above information. Introductions of sex education in schools also be encouraged to provide right informations to the young, and so has to discourage children from believing in myths and having misconception about sex related aspects. Proper information about reproductive organ, adolescence and related changes, safe and hygiene sexual practice, sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, etc. would help people, especially those in adolescence age group, to lead a reproductive healthy life. Educated people, especially fertile couples and those with a marriageable age group, about available birth control options, care of the pregnant mother, postnatal care of the mother and the child, and importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunity for the male and the female child, etc. would address the importance of bringing up socially conscious healthy family of a desired size. Awareness of problem due to uncontrolled population growth, social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes, etc. need to be created to enable people to think and make necessary steps to prevent them, thereby build up a socially responsible healthy society. A successful implementation of various action plans to attain a reproductive health requires strong infrastructural facilities, a professional expertise and material supports. These are essentials to provide a medical assistance and care to the people in reproductive related problems like the pregnancy, delivery of STDs, abortions, contraceptions, menstrual problems, infertility. Implantations of a better techniques and a new strategies from time to time are also required to provide more efficient care and assistance to people. The statutory ban on the amniocentesis for the sex determination to legally check the increased menarche of female feticides, massive child immunization, etc. Some of the programs that merits mention in this connections. In amniocentesis, some of the amniocentetic fluid developed fetus is also taken to analysis of the fetal cells and dissolved substances. This procedure is used to test the presence of certain genetic disorders such as Down syndromes, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, determine the survivability of the fetus. The research on various reproduction related areas are encouraged and supported by the government and non-governmental organized agencies to find out new methods and so has to improve upon the existing one. Do you know that Saheli, a new oral contraceptive from the Scientists at the Central Drug Research Institute CDRI in Lucknow, India, a better awareness about sex-related matters and increased number of medical assistance delivers a better postnatal care leading to a decreased maternal and infant mortality rate. Increased number of couples with a small families, better detections, a cure of STIs, and all overall increased medical facilities of all sex-related problems, etc. All indicates improved reproductive health of a society. Population and stabilization and birth control. In the last century, an all-around development in various fields strategically significantly improved the quality of life of the people. However, increased health facilities along with a better living condition had an explosive impact on the growth of populations. World population, which are around 2 billions and 1900 rocketed to 6 billion by 2000 and 7.2 billion in 2011. A small trend was observed in India too. Our population, which was approximately 350 million at the time of our independence, reached billion mark of 2000s, crossed over 1.2 billion in 2011. A rapid decline in death rate and maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, as well as an increased number of people in reproducible age, are probable reasons for this. Though our reproductive child health program, though we could bring down the population growth rate, it was only marginal. According to 2011 census report, the population growth rate was less than 2%, 10 by 1,000 by year, a rate of which our population could increase rapidly. Such an alarming growth rate could lead to an absolute scarcity of even the basic requirement, food, shelter, and clothing, in spite of significant progress made in some those areas. Therefore, government are focused on to take up serious measures to check this population growth rate. The most important steps to overcome this problem is to motivate smaller family of using various contraceptive method. You might have seen advertisement in media as well as posters and bill, etc., having a happy couple with 2 children with the slogan "Hum do hamare do," we too are two, and many couples, mostly young urban working ones, are even adapted to one-child norms. Statutory rising marriageable age of the female to 18 years and males to 21 years. Incentives given to couple of small families are the measures taken to tackle this problem. Let us describe some of the commonly used contraceptive method which helps to prevent unwanted pregnancy. An ideal contraceptive should be user-friendly, easy available, effective, reversible, and no or least side effect. It also should be no way interference with the sexual drive, desire, or the sexual act of user. A wide range of contraceptive methods are present, available, broadly grouped into the category, namely natural, traditional, barrier, IUDs, oral contraceptive, injectable, implants, and surgical methods. A natural methods work on a principle of avoiding chances of ovum or the sperm meeting. Periodic abstain is one such methods in which a couple avoid or abstain from the coitus from day 10 to 17 of most of the menstrual cycle, when the ovulation could be expected. As the chances of fertilization are very high during this period, it's called as fertile periods. Therefore, by abstraining the coitus during this periods, the conceptions can be prevented. Withdrawal or the coitus interruption is another method in which a male partner withdraw his penis from the vagina just before ejaculation so as to avoid insemination. Lactation and amenorrhea, absence of menstruations. Method is based on the fact that ovulation and therefore the cycle do not occur during the period of intense lactation following the paturation. Therefore, as long as there is a mother breastfeeds a child fully, chances of contraception are most nil. However, this method has been reported to be effective only up to maximum periods of 6 months following the paturations, as no medicines or the devices are used in The spirits. Side effects are almost nil. The chances of failure, though the spirits, are also high. In barrier methods, ovum and the sperms are prevented by physical meeting with the help of barrier. Such methods available are for both the males and female. Condoms are the barriers made by the thin rubber lactease sheet that are used to convert the penis in the male or the vagina, the cervix in the female, just before the coitus, so as to ejaculated sperm would not enter into the female reproductive tract. This can prevent contraceptions. Nirodha is the normal brand of condom for the males. Use of condoms also has increased in recent years due to additional benefits, protections of use of STIs and AIDS. Both the male and female condoms are disposable and can be self-inserted and thereby the privacy to the users. Diaphragm, cervical cap walls are also the barriers made up of rubber and are inserted in the female reproductive tract to cover the cervix during the coitus. They prevent the contraception by blocking the entry of sperm to the cervix. They are reusable. The spermicidal creams, jellies and foams are also used along with these barriers to increase their contraceptive efficiency. Another effective popular method is intrauterine device. These devices are inserted by the doctor, by other experts or expert nurse has available expert nurse in the uterine of the vagina. These uterine devices are present availably as non-mediated IUCD, that is Lippis loops, the copper releasing IUCD and the CUTT CU7 multi-load 375 and the hormone releasing IUCDs progestates LNG20. IUCDs increases the phagocytosis of the sperm within the uterus. The Cu ion release suppresses sperm motility and the fertilizing capacity of the sperm. The hormonal releasing IUCDs in addition makes the uterines unsustainable for implantation and the cervical hostile to the sperm. The IUCDs are ideal contraceptives for the female who wants to delay the pregnancy or the space children. If one of the most widely accepted methods of contraceptives in India, the oral admissions of small dose of either progestrogens or progestrogen and estrogens combines in another contraceptive method used by the female. They are used in the form of tablets, hence popularly called as pills. Pills have to be taken daily for the period of 21 days, starting preferably within the first 5 days of menstrual cycles. After a gap of 7 days during the menstruations occurs, it has to be repeated by the same pattern till the female decide to prevent contraceptions. They inhibit ovulation, implantation as well as alter the quality of cervical cups to prevent and retard the entry of the sperm. Pills are very effective with the lesser side effects. Lesser side effects are well accepted by females. Saheli, the new oral contraceptives of female, contains a non-steroidal preparations. It is once a week the pills with a few side effects and a high contraceptives value. Progesterone alone as combination with the estrogen can be used by the female as injections or implantation under the skins. The mode of actions is similar to those of pills and effective methods as much longer. Administration of progesterone and progesterone estrogen combination IUCDs within 72 hours of coitus have been found to be very effective in emergency contraceptives as they can be used to avoid possible pregnancy due to rape or casual unprotected intercourse. The surgical method called as sterilizations are advised for the male and female partner to terminations to prevent any more pregnancy. Surgical interventions blocks gametes transport, thereby prevent contraception. Sterilization procedure in the male is called as vasectomy, and then female it is tubectomy. In vasectomy, the small parts of the vasa deferens is removed and tied up to a small incisions on the scrotum. Whereas a tubectomy is a small part of the fallopian tubes are removed and tied to along the incision in the abdomen or to the vagina. These techniques are highly effective but reversibility is very poor. It is needed to emphasize that the selection of suitable contraceptive methods and use should be always undertaken by a consultation with the qualified professionals. One must always remember that contraceptives are not regular requirement for maintenance of a reproductive health. In fact, they are practice against a natural reproductive event, contraception and pregnancy. Once is forced used methods either to prevent pregnancy or delay the space pregnancy due to personal reasons. No doubt, the widespread use of the methods have a significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of populations. However, there is possible ill effect of nausea, abnormal pain, the breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding, and even the breast cancer, though not very significant, should not be totally ignored. Medical termination of pregnancy. Intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called medical termination of pregnancy or induced abortions. Nearly 145 to 50 million of NTPs performed in a year overall all over the world, which accounts for 1/5 the total numbers of the conceived pregnancy in a year. Whether unaccepted or legalized, NTPs are not well debated upon many countries due to emotional, ethical, religious, and social issues involved in it. Government of India legalized the NTP in 1971, which are some strict conditions to avoid the misuse. Such restrictions are more important to check this indiscriminate and illegal female feticides that are reported to be high in India. NTPs obviously is the answer is to get rid of unwanted pregnancy either due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of contraceptives used during the coitus or the rapes. NTP is also essential in the certain cases where the continuous pregnancy could be harmful or fatal either to mother or the fetus or the both. The MTPs are considered relatively safe during the first trimester upon the 12th week of pregnancy. Social trimester abortions are much more risky. One distributing the trends observed is the majority of the MTPs are performed illegally by uniqualification quark, which are not only unsafe but also be fatal too. Another dangerous trend is misuse of amniocentesis determines sex of unborn child. Frequently in the fetus, it's found to be female. It is followed by MTPs, which is totally against what is legal. Such practices should be avoided because these are dangerous both for young mother and the fetus. Effective counseling a need to avoid unprotected coitus and risk factor involved is illegal abortions as well as providing more health care facilities would reverse the mentioned unhealthy trend. Sexually transmitted infections. Infections are diseases which are transmitted to sexual intercourse or collectively called sexually transmitted infections STI or visceral diseases or reproductive tractor infections, gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B. Of course, most are discussed infection recent year, HIV leading to AIDS, which are common of STDs, and HIV infections most dangerous and discussed in chapter 7. Some of the infection like hepatitis B and HIV can also be transmitted by sharing injection needle, surgical instrument. This infected person transmission of the blood or from the infected mother to the fetus. Except for hepatitis B, genital herpes, HIV infection and other diseases are comparatively curable if detected early and treated properly. Early symptoms of most of these are minor, includes itching, fluid discharge, slight painful swelling in the genital region. Infection of the female often be asymptomatic, hence many remain undetected for long. Absence of less significant symptom in early stage of infection, social stigma attached to STI detect infected person for going for timely detection and proper treatment. This could lead to a complication later, which includes pelvic inflammation diseases, abortion, stillbirth, ectopic pregnancies, and infertility or even cancer of reproductive tract. STIs are major threat to healthy society. Prevention of early or detection of a cure of these diseases are prime consideration on the reproductive health care program. Though all the persons are vulnerable to these infections, the incidence of reported to be very high among person age group of 15 to 24, the age of group to which are belongs. So there is no reasons to panic because prevention is possible, and the infections of the following simple principles are given. Avoid sex with unknown partners or multiple partner. Avoid try use of condoms during encounters. In case of doubt, one should have qualified doctor in the early detection and get completely diagnosed diagnose the infections. Infertility. A discussed reproductive health is incomplete without mention of infertility. Large number of couples all over the world, including India, are infertile and unable to produce child in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. The reason could be many physical, congenital diseases, drug, immunological, and physiological. In India, female is banned from couple being childless, but more than that, problem lies in the male partner. Specialized healthcare units, infertility clinic, and help in diagnosis and corrective treatment of the disorder and enable the couples to have child. However, such cohabitations are not possible. The couples would be assisted to have child through a certain special technique commonly known as assisted reproductive technology. In vitro fertilizations outside the body is most of the similar condition has that in the body, followed by embryo transfer is one such method. In this method, the popularly known as test tube program, ova from the wife or the donor, sperm from the husband or the donor male are collected and induced to form zygote under the suitable condition laboratory. Zygote or the early embryo up to 8 blastomeres could then be transferred to fallopian tube. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Embryo have with more than 8 blastomeres into the uterus intrauterine device to complete its further development. Embryo formed. In vitro fertilization, fusion of gametes within the female also could be used for such transfer to assist a female who cannot conceive. Transfer of ovum collected from donor into fallopian tube. Gamete intrafallopian transfer to another female who cannot produce one but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization and further development is another method of attempts. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection is another simplified procedure to form embryo in the laboratory in which a sperm is directly injected into the ovum. Infertility cases either due to inability of the male partner to inseminate the female or due to the low sperm counts or ejections could be corrected by artificial insemination technique. In this technique, the sperm is collected either from husband or the healthy donor, artificially introduced either from the vagina or the intrauterine insemination of the female. Through the options are many that these techniques are quite extremely high precision handling the specialized professional expensive instrumentations. Therefore, these facilities are presently available only in a few centers. Obviously, the benefits is affordable to only limited number of people. Emotional, religion and social factors also determines the adoptions of these methods. Since the ultimate aim of all the procedure is to have a child, in India we have so many orphans and destitute children's probably not survive till maturity unless they care of. Our law permits illegal adoptions. It is yet one of the best methods for the couples to take up the parenthood. Summary. Reproductive health refers to total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, physical, emotional, behavioral, socials. Our nation has the first nation in the world to initiate a various action plan at national level towards attaining reproductive health society. Counseling and creating awareness among people, reproductive organ, adolescents, associated changes, safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted infections including AIDS. In the primary steps towards reproductive health, provide medical facilities and care, problem menstrual irregularities, pregnancy related aspects, delivery, medical terminations of pregnancy, SIT, birth control, infertility, postnatal child maternal management is another important aspect of reproductive child health care. Overall improvement in the reproductive health has taken place in our country to induce by the reduced maternal infant mortality rate, early detection and cure of STI, assistance to infertile couple, etc. Improved health facilities society's better living condition promotes an explosive growth of the population. Such a growth necessitates intense propagations of contraceptive methods. Various contraceptive options are available: natural, traditional, barrier, IUCDC pill, injectable implants, surgical methods. Avoid through contraceptives are not regular requirement for reproductive health. Once is forced use to avoid the pregnancy or to delay or the space pregnancy. The medical termination of pregnancy is legalized in a country. MTPs is generally formed to get rid of unwanted pregnancy due to rape or casual relationships. It's also in case of the continuation of pregnancy can be harmed or even fatal either for the mother or the fetus or the both. The infection or the disease transmitted through sexual intercourse are called sexually transmitted diseases. The pelvic inflammation diseases, stillbirth, infertility are some of the complications of them. Early detection facilitates better cure diseases. Avoiding sexual intercourse with unknown multiple partner, use of condom during the coitus, and also some of the simple precautions to avoid contraception. Inability to conceive and produce children even after 2 years of unprotected sexual cohabitations is called infertility. Various methods are now available to help the couples. In vitro fertilization followed by transfer of embryo into the female genital tract is one of such methods, commonly known as test tube baby program. Thank you for watching.